Hello and welcome to the video tutorial on making custom certificates for students, staff, and parents. So the way this works is you're going to design a certificate one time in Google Slides or Google Docs, and then you're going to have a Google form that goes along with that. And anytime someone submits a response to the Google form, they will get a customized version of the certificate. So if you've done mail merges in Microsoft Office, it works the exact same way. Your Google slide can be formatted any way you want. You can have any pictures, any text, any colors. Just make a normal Google slide or Google Doc and you'll be good to go. The only thing that matters are words in double angle brackets. So any word in double angle brackets is what the tool that makes the certificate is going to look for. So it's just going to look at your template file and know anything in double angle brackets. That means that is something that can and should be replaced. And the words inside of the double angle brackets technically do not matter, but you're going to want to name it something that is a good reminder for you so it links up with the question on your form. So in my case, I have session name in double angle brackets. On my form, the question is, what session did you attend? That will make it easy for me to match session to session. School name is the next one. The next one is, where do you teach? So that's going to be easy for me to associate as well. And then first name, last name, those are pretty self-explanatory. I don't have a question for email, but I'd recommend, especially if you're doing this for students, to go to the gear in your form and just check the box collect email addresses. That way you'll always have the email address, which is going to be really helpful because you're going to want to share the certificate with your students. And so you're going to need email address to share the certificate with your students. So that's pretty much covers how the template works. To show you how the actual mail merger certificate creation works, I'm going to go to my form. And I'm just going to do one response on my form. So I'm going to say I attended this. I teach at multiple sites. First name Jacob, last name Lopez. Hit submit. Now I have one response, and go over to the responses tab. And this add-on that we're going to be installing, it's called Autocrat, and it doesn't get installed on Google Forms or the Google Slide. It actually gets installed on the spreadsheet that the form has. So I'm going to click on Create Spreadsheet. I'm going to create a new spreadsheet. You can title it whatever you want. Hit Create. Then it's going to link the spreadsheet and open it up. Now I'm going to have one answer on the spreadsheet. Each answer to the form is going to be a row, and they're just going to go cascading down with the newer ones being lower. And this is where the add-on gets installed. So if you haven't noticed, all Google apps have a new area, or a relatively new area, it's probably 3 years old at this point, called add-ons, which is close to the right-hand side of the toolbar. The add-on we're going to be using today is called Autocrat. If you have it installed, you can hover over it and hit launch. If you don't, you'd go to get add-ons and search for Autocrat. So I'm going to go to Autocrat, launch. I'm going to hit new job. I'm going to call this whatever I want to call this. No one else will see this, so it's whatever you want to call it, and it doesn't live in your drive, it just lives on this document. Now I'm going to hit from drive, so now I'm going to be selecting the template document. So I'm going to copy the name of this template document and do a search for that. Select it. Now when I hit next, it's going to pull out all the tags. So you notice all the things that were in double angle brackets show up in Autocrat in double angle brackets. And now it's going to say, what column do you want to map this to? So session name, I'm going to say, is mapped to what session did you attend. School name is going to be mapped to where do you teach. First name is going to be mapped to first name, and last name is going to be mapped to last name. And what I mean by mapped is for each response, it's going to replace the student's response to what session did you attend with session name on the template for their custom certificate. Email is going to be email address. Now we can have it output as a Google slide or a PDF. We can also make it to where each file gets its own custom name. So I'm going to say certificate. And then in all the areas where you can name stuff in Autocrat, there's this handy toolbar where you can just look at all the tags and you can just click on them to copy them. So I'm going to click on email address and type in for email address. So each certificate is going to be called certificate for and then the student's email address right there. Multiple output means each student will get their own Google slide. Single output would mean a slideshow with a slide for each student. So you want each student to get their own slide. Now you can choose where you want to put it. I'm just going to leave it where it automatically selected, but you can put it somewhere else. It's going to select wherever the certificate template lives by default. Merge condition, this would be if you're doing like a Google quiz and you wanted it to only go to students that scored a certain amount. You can add conditions to say it only goes to students that have a certain score. I'm not going to cover that in this tutorial, but that's an additional option here. Share doc and send emails, you're going to say yes. You're going to share the doc as a editable or view only doc. It's really up to you. Editable means a student can change their certificate, so you may want to do view only. Allow collaborators to reshare self-explanatory. Send from generic email address. That's whether or not you want this to come from your email address or just a generic no reply email address. We're going to say to email address, paste it right here. The subject, we're going to say congratulations. I'm going to grab their first name and their last name, so they'll get a custom subject line, and then I can type a message if I want to in there. Run on form trigger means that anytime any student puts in a Google form response, they will get their certificate, so I'm going to say yes. Run on time trigger would be if you want to run like once a day at 10 o'clock. Now they're all done. Normally it's going to run after each form response, but since I already have one, I'm just going to play to have it, just to force it to run. It's going to add some additional columns that are going to have like the object ID and whether or not it's completed, and it's also going to be hyperlinked to the actual certificate, so you can quickly see which certificates have been made directly on the sheet. So I'm going to hit merge doc URL, and now you can see that this is the certificate that I would have had emailed to me. Certificate in Google Forms for formative assessment. I will share with what I learned with my colleagues at multiple sites. That's from the forum. My name's there and my email address is there. So that's it for this video tutorial on making custom certificates. I hope it helped. Thank you very much.